Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. And our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And I am here at the mothership in the ever-improving studios here at 1360 KHNC. I actually left right after the show yesterday, got on the airplane. The airport is what a mess. They don't, not enough help in Phoenix. There's a strike going on. And like everywhere else, right? Everyone knows the same thing. We want a lot more money because they cost a lot more to live. But I got here. The rental car place was a ghost town. I was talking to the lady, and she goes, I've never seen it empty before. I was the only person at the rental car place, which was kind of nice. But I'm here. All is well. Much warmer than I expected it to be. I mean, it's going to be like 70 degrees all week. I did not pack appropriately. I got all, not that I have a lot of cold stuff, but I brought a couple of sweatshirts. I got long sleeve shirts. I got my jeans on. The only time I wear jeans is when I come to Colorado. In Arizona, I'm a shorts only at the office type guy. But it's absolutely, really, it's beautiful here. So I'm happy to be here. I'll be here all week long. Come in and say hello. I already had people in this morning. Jason got out of bed early and got the office opened up for me. Jason, good morning. Wow, it's really bright in here.
We've made some improvements that Joe hasn't seen. He's looking at it for the first time, but I'll say this: I've done a lot of shows with a lot of people in this studio now that I've actually gone out of the control room. And Joe's the first one that is louder than my headset. It doesn't sound right because usually I depend on the headset when I'm talking to the other guests on the other shows. When I'm in here, it's like I don't hear anything because Joe's voice is louder than the headset, which is pretty strange.
Well, you know what?
All these years we haven't done a show in a booth together.
That's right. You know what? Every time I've been here, you've been in the control room.
Yep. So it's different. I feel like Jack needs to turn my headset off.
I'm one of those people. That talking, if you want to talk quietly and don't want other people to hear, you probably don't want to tell me what that is, because my whisper tends to be, everyone in 20 feet heard you quote unquote whispering.
And my voice is pretty loud, too. I remember when I was a kid, I'd be at friends' houses. We'd stay up late doing whatever, playing games, whatever. And the parents would always come downstairs and tell me, that, you got to be quiet, Jason. You're way too loud. I can't imagine what would have happened at your friends' houses.
Yeah, that happened.
You got to keep it down. I can't sleep. You can stay here, but you're too loud.
Put it this way, I didn't get invited to a lot of spend the nights after, after the first one. They're like, that kid's too loud. Back in the day, thank God I didn't grow up in today. They probably would have had me drugged out.
Yeah,
just because your voice is too loud. Here, take some of this.
Stop running around and be quiet. That's the society nowadays.
Listen, we got a lot to talk about. Markets are going absolutely crazy. We got Janet Yellen and Jay Powell testifying in front of Congress. Right now, Jay Powell's talking. I don't know what he's saying, but the Dow's down 500 points. Gold has been on just an absolute crazy ride this morning. It's been up as much as $20. It's been down $10 right now. It's down $4 as Jay Powell started talking about taper, and they may need to speed it up. Listen, taper should have already been done by now if they really wanted to fight inflation. All that really tells us is what we already knew. Hey, we screwed up. That's why the Dow is suffering here. They know they're behind. And of course, for those of you that live under a rock and don't understand why prices are so expensive, Jay Powell's to blame. the Federal Reserve's to blame. Janet Yellen's to blame. They have decided they want to devalue the currency without admitting they want to devalue the currency. And now, I mean, just think about this. Taper just started. I mean, it just started. We are not even a month into it, and they're already, oh, well, you know what? We may have to go faster.
Do they say how much faster they're going to taper?
No.
Just faster.
Well, maybe. They didn't even say that they were gonna, but they're going to talk about it. And you know what? These guys do a lot of talking. Right?
Yeah,
Talk, but they actually don't really want to do any of this stuff. Of course, taper should go faster. Have you been to the grocery store?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Have you bought anything? I literally anything. You know that we should have done it. And again, I think it's in this whole new variant.
Oh, yeah.
That's making the rounds today. I have a prediction. That's just going to be my prediction. My follow my science. Okay. So once again, we have to look and learn about things that we shouldn't have to look and learn about because we can't get the truth. I mean, let's face it.
Yep.
Right. So we got to learn on our own. And what normally would happen, the normal course, and again, maybe this is the only one saying it, I'm going to tell you what my science is saying about the new variant, and then we'll see. We'll find out later on if I'm right or wrong, but I think it'll be interesting, my spin on it all. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquint, Jason Walker here on this Tuesday, live in the KHNC studios here in Johnstown, Colorado, in a very warm end of November. December's here. I mean, it's right here. No snow yet. All I think about is water. Arizona needs water, but nonetheless, so we're talking before the break. What do we think this new variant's going to be? And everyone's trying to guess. And here's the funny thing, is the CEO for Moderna comes out not once, but twice in the last 24 hours. To say, yeah, it doesn't look good for the vaccine. That hey, we need to reformulate another. That's kind of what he was hinting at. Hey, we're already working. This thing may evade the vaccine. Now, other people, Oxford University, the Harvard of England, says, oh no, it's going to be fine, and it's not going to. The vaccine's going to keep you protected. I don't know. But normal progression of this virus is going to be I think, a pattern of, yes, it's going to be highly transmissible. Kind of like Delta. This one may actually be even more transmissible than Delta. I think, Jason, we're going to have a lessening degree of people getting really sick naturally. That's my call on this. That's what I think this next variant, and I think the one after this one is going to be very similar. It's going to be, I think it's going to naturally weaken out. As we, develop immunities and all these other things, just like everything else, right? Go back to, I don't know, the 1200s, the common cold killed people. Well, now it's this, it's a cold.
Actually, a virus's job is actually not to kill the host. A virus is actually wants to live, because as soon as you die, the virus dies with it. So it's not actually supposed to kill you. This is why a lot of people don't die from viruses. It's not supposed to kill you. So the lessening of symptoms, it would make a lot of sense.
See? There you go. and all of this stuff, I don't know. We'll find out. Obviously, the big fear is is this as dangerous as, say, Delta, right? In other words, people are going to be in the hospital. And, guess what? All of you that went and got all shot up was all for naught, right? And now you got to get shot up again. And of course, I'm hearing 100 days. So that somehow they can reformulate and of course, all I think about is, well, how many millions, dare I say billions, of doses of this stuff that apparently may or may not work did you make?
They're still wanting people to take it.
Right? That you know.
Hey, we have a variant, but keep taking it.
I'm pretty sure our government already paid for it all. Yeah. Now I got to pay some more. I don't know, but that's just what I think. I have, once again, I did not, by the way, just for the record, I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn. Okay? I'm not at a Holiday Inn. I'm not a doctor.
But just think about it, Joe. Here comes the variant, and the first thing they say is like, the first thing you need to do if you're unvaccinated to get this thing. How is that supposed to help against the variant? I mean, that's what they say it helps. How do you believe any of that stuff? How do you believe any of that?
Well, and it's confusing because, like I said, the Moderna CEO was doing an interview yesterday and said that the vaccine, that his expert says that the vaccine is going to struggle to stop the Omicron variant. And then he went out and repeated it again and said that he and here's his exact word. So struggle was his word. Then he said he was going to, he's predicting a material drop in the current jab efficiency, if you will, of fighting. You know, it's 90% or 95%, and then 6 months from now it's 60%. So now he's saying, listen, we're going to have a material drop from that. Which basically says, hey, we got to come up with another new formula. Right? Which I'm sure great for Moderna, right? I'm sure great for Pfizer, right? Because they're probably sitting there going, man, how lucky are we that we were able to convince all the governments of the world that this thing was going to be. Listen, I don't want to make light of it. It's horrible. It's killed a lot of people. Right? I still, to this day, and we're probably never going to learn the actual real truth because China has hidden it. They somewhere in the bowels of the Chinese government, they know the truth. Right? I believe, and again, my thoughts are my own.
Joe wants me to be opposite here.
My thoughts are my own. But it came out of a lab. We created it. It got out. It's been terrible. But I think we're going to find out that maybe the first time that how powerful, and we've always known the pharmaceutical powerful. It's powerful.
Yep.
But they came out with all these charts. I mean, you got to go. We forget. I mean, they came out originally and said, "Listen, this is a population killer," right? Yeah. I mean, that's what they called it. And they had all these charts, and they'd flash them. No actual science to support the charts.
Right.
Right? Because we didn't even know what the real data coming out of China was. So they were just making it up. And come to find out, it was still bad. It was bad.
Yep.
But I think I don't know that we'd be any worse for wear if we had developed all the things we already had to fight this thing and be in the same place. And again, I think we're and again, I could be proven dead wrong. Let's hope I'm right. Which is, hey, as this virus mutates, like Jason said, the virus wants to live. I want to live. I don't want to kill you.
Right.
I just want to make you kind of sick. Right? That as it goes on, it's going to get a little weaker.
They did report that in every country in the world that reported coronavirus, the flu dropped 98%. And mysteriously, the flu just disappeared. So to me, I'm always the misrepresenting what it is category. I I don't believe anything because I don't think the information is really right. I ran a show, Brian and I ran a show yesterday, and we'll get into that maybe on the Half Empty Cup of Joe, but I think what they're doing to the population of the world is disgusting, and count me out on vaccinations, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? That's really what's happening today, right? And again, we're forced to talk about what the economics of this are going to be.
Yep.
Gold was up over $20 earlier this morning because consumer confidence came out listen, there's a big chunk of the population that inflation is killing them. There's and again, there's a chunk of the population hey, yeah, I see it, but I'm okay with it, right? I've got the money, I can afford it. They've printed plenty of money out there. The problem is this thing's going to continue. And now Jay Powell coming out and saying, hey, we may have to speed up taper. You just announced it, which tells you how far behind are they. That's really, and of course, they're never going to tell us. And I'll tell you, taper should already be over. We should have already raised interest rates at least 4 times, if not 8 times, right? And we should be on this path where we should be talking about interest rates rising, not 1/4 of a point.
Yep.
Half points, full points. This is how severe the problem is, and unfortunately, they know, God, we can't do that. I mean, could you imagine if Jay Powell came out and said, hey, we're done with taper in December, and we're getting ready we're going to start raising rates in January, and we're going to start off with a full point. I mean, the Dow would be down 10,000 points.
Russia, ever since the USSR fell, they've had economic strife in that country, Joe. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, they trying to fix their inflation and problems that goes up and down over these decades. I think they had one day where they rose interest rates by 7% in that country to try to fix their problems. In one day, just 7% blew up their markets.
Well, and a lot of people, because the Fed operated in secrecy in the 70s.
Yep.
In other words, they didn't meet with Wall Street bankers. They weren't going out on TV, right? Nobody knew what they were thinking or doing. There were tons of meetings. Well, I say tons. They were still meeting every 6 weeks. But they were raising and lowering interest rates in the 70s by multiple points.
Yep.
It was nothing for them. Hey, we're raising interest rates 3%, 3 points in a meeting. Right? We're going to go from 7 to 10. We're going to go from 10 to 12. And then they'd go 12 to 8. Right? And then 8 to 11. And then 11 to 15. And then 15 to 12.
That's coming back.
That is how it operated. Now, they've tried to get more organized. Right? And why do they want to be more organized? Who does that benefit? It benefits their banking system.
Yep.
Right? And that's they decided, well, that's a bad way to go because, let's face it, Wall Street was very cautious. Because they were like, interest rate go up 3 points today. We don't know. You didn't have, PE ratios. Right? We're like at 7 or 8. I don't even know what they are today. I mean, 30, 40.
Yep.
Right? And again, this huge bubble they created, and this is why you buy gold and silver. Like today, Bubba, I want to say Bubba Wallace, but he's the race car driver. Bubba Horowitz, he's a big gold trader. He's a banker. I don't want to call him a clown or anything like that, but he's just a trader. He doesn't care. He will willingly admit to you, right? Hey, listen, gold and silver going way higher. Platinum, all of that. I'm not saying that it won't, right? But we're just making trades here. And today, yesterday, tomorrow, next week, right? They're just placing bets. They just want to make a few bucks. Right? I want to make a few bucks today. I want to make a few bucks tomorrow. But when you actually look at the house of cards that they have built, this is a huge house of cards.
Yeah, because they can't just go up 3 or 4% interest to fix things this time. They have to blow it up first. They have to have an emergency to where it's going to be allowed to. And I think interest rates 10 to 25%. That's your range where it's going to end up in the next couple of years. They have to do it.
And it's going to be one of these things where and just thinking about this from where we were in the 70s, right, when they were very quiet. They didn't talk to the banks. They didn't talk to Wall Street. They didn't care about what they actually. You could make the argument that they were actually truly being subservient to the public because they were trying to do what was right.
But by today's standards, they were responsible.
By today's standards, I think I like that. Because by no means were they responsible.
No.
I don't want to give that impression.
They were still greedy.
But they were at least somewhat more responsible than what we have today, which means this house of cards is just 1,000 times bigger. When does that one card finally break and send it all crashing down? Welcome back, 800-951-0592. This is why you put gold away. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret, right? Gold used to be the barbaric relic. Alan Greenspan back when he used to be the maestro, and they had a good run. They really did. They had a good run, and you look at and I would say the tech bubble was probably the height of the run. That was the best of the times because the deficit had really, the annual deficits really shrunk, and we had the budget surpluses, of the Clinton. And again, I'm not going to go into and I'm sure someone's going to email me. Oh no, we had a couple of we didn't, but I say that only if you believe that they were actually putting the Social Security money in an actual trust fund, then yes. But that's not what happened. But neither here, it doesn't matter, right? Remember, I want to highlight this because it's so true of why everything was going to be okay. Even though when Alan Greenspan was talking about irrational exuberance in the tech bubble, and again, why did we have a tech bubble? Well, too much money. Why did we have a housing bubble? Too much money. Why did we have a financial crisis? Too much. And I say too much money, too much debt. And too much money. Now, what they've done, and nobody wants to talk about it, it's like a dirty little secret that because the mainstream media, let's face it, they're sponsored by Pfizer. Turn on the idiot box, right? Every commercial out there is to play to, hey, give us your money, right? Get into the debt markets, right? We're going to give you all these great returns and all of that stuff, right? I mean, we've got more channels dedicated to stocks than we do just about anything else out there. I mean, ESPN's got like 4 channels. Right? The stock market's got like 4 channels. I mean, it's as popular as sports. Right, to convince you, right? Because let's face it, when you talk about the full faith and credit, that's what they're trying to. Hey, just as long as you're confident, it's going to be okay. Well, confidence, like today, confidence is crashing because people are like, wait a minute, yesterday I told you about my luggage. It was hilarious. The checkout girl at the Target was hilarious. You don't want $160 for one piece of luggage. And even though the cheap one was $80-some. And talking about, hey, that used to be $29, $30 on sale just a couple of years ago. Right? And think about this. Healthcare. Up $3,000. $3,000. And wait till next year. Okay? You think about everything. Property taxes. Right?
Oh boy, I'm worried about that one.
Up huge. Rents, average rent, at least $3,000 is probably understating it for the year, right? If you're a renter, your increase in your rent, if you're only paying $3,000 more this time than last time, you either went down or you've gotten very, very fortunate, right? That you have a really nice landlord, and doesn't care, doesn't need the money, and likes you, and doesn't want to raise your rent. Other than that, listen, things are up at least when you talk about food and energy and gas and health insurance, probably for the average person, $12,000 to $15,000 in a year. And Jay Powell's out there talking, well, we may have to speed up taper. Well, you just started, right? That tells you how far behind they are on all of these things. And listen, everyone's putting gold away. Don't be fooled.
The smart people are the few that know. They're all putting it in.
Listen, everybody, trust me. They're all, and I don't mean, the average, they don't want you to do it. Don't get me wrong.
Those in the know are all buying.
They're all buying.
Yes, I agree with that.
Singapore. They're the latest. I don't know how, and again, this just tells you how they don't want things to get out. Singapore, who hasn't bought gold since in 20 years, somehow managed to buy over 26 metric tons this summer without anybody noticing.
They can buy a lot of canes with that.
Yes, because Singapore didn't announce it. Now, what Singapore did is they put it on their balance sheet. They reported it. They just didn't issue a press release, which is the way you should do it, right? Hey, if you're going to buy a large chunk of gold, don't announce it beforehand.
Yeah, that's not a good, that's not a good way for your price.
But I only bring it up because they're not buying a ton, right? They're not buying one. And just so you know, a metric ton is 32,150 ounces. Okay? That's a lot of ounces. That's just 1 ton. So they buy 26 metric tons. And again, almost seemingly every month now, we hear of another country buying gold, right? They're all buying it. And I promise you, they're all buying. They're not telling you to buy it, but they're buying because they understand what's happening. Because Alan Greenspan did have it right when our debt was just under $5 trillion.
It's the only logical reason why gold and silver is sitting there while everything else is going up. It's the only reason.
It makes sense. They don't want it to go up.
They're going to make sure they buy at the lowest price. Just like in 2015 when J.P. Morgan bought 60 million ounces of silver. They wanted to buy it when it was really low priced, and then it went up a little bit after that.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It may have doubled. I think is what happened, but it's okay. And they were going to pay off the national debt by 2010, and that was going to fix Social Security, fix Medicare and Medicaid, and all the interest payments we were going to save. That was the height of the central bank.
That's so ridiculous. How's the Fed supposed to make money if there's no debt?
And
how do they make money?
And so fast forward now, here we are in 2021, and I think unofficially now the debt is now $29 trillion.
Yep.
And we don't know what the real number is because we got the debt ceiling. Which, matter of fact, we got 2 weeks for the debt ceiling now, so we'll see what they do there. But this whole house of cards, that's how much bigger it is now. So how bad is the fall going to be when it finally comes tumbling down? That's why everybody's adding to their gold holdings. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. Omicron Prime. Yes, the latest Transformer. He's the evil one, right? I don't even know. Who was the evil Transformer?
Megatron. Omicron's brother.
This is his brother.
Omicron is Megatron's father.
Yeah,
I am your father. I am your variant. Listen to me.
Yes, listen to me. I'm going to kill you. Oh, this is just weird stuff Jason and I start talking about during the breaks. Listen, big development. You know, I asked, ask and you shall receive. When is Jay Powell going to admit they were wrong?
Never.
Well,
they're never wrong, Joe.
He's testifying in front of Congress today. And he got asked the question by, I want to say it was Senator Toomey, about the word transitory.
Oh, boy. Kind of like Transformer.
Powell says it's probably a good time to retire that word. What? What? Wait a minute. So you're telling me?
There's a few words I'd like to retire.
Yeah. Well, there's a few words I'd like to say right now. But the FCC would not look too kindly upon me. Yes, Jay Powell says it's probably a good time to retire the word transitory. So you were wrong. You did screw everybody, and now it's out of control. Listen, you have no idea, and I keep telling you, you have no idea.
The next time I'm wrong, Joe, I'm just going to make sure to retire that idea.
Yeah, I'm just retiring it.
I don't have to admit I'm wrong. I just got to retire that idea.
And the funny part about it is we'll have, we got gold down, which is hilarious in itself. But again, you got to remember, they need it to be down because they still have countries needing to buy. They still have their wealthy friends needing to buy. And no, buying Bitcoin and all of that isn't going to save you, right? Some electronic credit isn't going to get it done. And there's a reason why, because they can't buy it afterwards. You need to have it before that card falls. And I don't know what that card's going to be, right? What is it? What's the trigger point going to be? And listen, think about California. Remember all the ships?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then California said, oh, it's gotten better. Right? We've hit the peak. Right? I believed it. That makes sense. Of course, right? Christmas, right? Okay, we're going to have less ships. Well, guess what? All as they did was tell the ships, hey,
go away.
Go farther away so when we fly over, it doesn't look like there's that many of you there. And then we can say we fixed it.
There's not more ships. We just retired them further out into the ocean.
Yes, we just retired. It was like, what was that Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy, where the kid wets the bed, right? And
put a newspaper on it.
Put some newspaper over. Let's just cover it up. There's nothing to see here. Right? And that's what we're doing right now. The central bank's just covering up a big steaming pile of urine and feces, hoping that nobody notices.
They figured out that you can only zoom in so far from the coast, and we got to move them out just a little farther than that.
We just back up. Yeah. Go another 5 miles.
They have to social distance the ships.
That's right. Omicron Prime is coming. Spread out. Oh, man. 800-951-0592. Gold is, like I said, another one of these wild rides. It's been up 20. It's been down 15. It's down 8. Jay Powell just continues you see, we would have never have gotten this from Janet Yellen or Ben Bernanke or Alan Greenspan would have said some kind of nonsense that when Alan Greenspan used to talk, I was like,
really big words.
Yeah, I don't even know what that word means.
Omicron.
Right. Omicron Prime. Yes. If you look up the laws of Omicron Prime, then we're going to be okay.
Things aren't bad. It's Omicron.
Jay Powell doesn't have that. The Dow is getting crushed again right now, and I think here's the risk. The risk for a policy mistake by the central bank is significant. And already, here's what we learned today. They're worried now because the risk has gotten greater, right? Because they just announced taper. And now we may have to speed it up, right? Because you can't raise interest rates to fight inflation until taper's over.
Yes, and it's got to be much worse. What they did in the 70s, raising the rates, they didn't have the amount of debt and the deficits that we have.
Think about the 70s. The national debt wasn't even $1 trillion.
You could move things around a lot easier than you can now.
The Fed didn't. There's no $9 trillion balance sheet. That's the other thing.
What would 2% going up in the rates, as far as dollar terms, have done to paying debt, right? Versus a quarter percent. What would that do today? The dollar amount on a 0.25% is got to be much higher than 2% in the 70s. Much higher.
So you just look at interest payments on a quarter of a point. You're probably looking at an extra $150 billion or so per quarter of a point, just in interest rates, right? You're talking about, a national debt in 1971 of like $400 billion total. Forget about 2 points. Woo, do the math, baby. How bad is it gonna get? I hope you got your gold put away. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Gold's down 4, and again, who knows? I have no idea. What a crazy ride right now. Wall Street's down over 600, going up to 700 points as Jay Powell is going to ask Oxford to take transitory out of the dictionary today. Apparently, transitory is now dead. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And I think this is just a very clear signal. Things are getting much worse than they expected. This is a huge change. I find it interesting now that he's been renominated. Okay, well now that that's over here, let me let's bury transitory. We may have to speed up taper. The chances are so great for a policy mistake by the central bank that I think they've already made it. That's the problem. People are saying, well, he could make a mistake. No, they already made the mistake.
They're just in the situation of the least worst choice now.
Right. And now they've got to fight, which is the end, right? When you talk about, we know what rising rates does to housing. We know what rising rates does to the debt. Now listen, the Fed's got $9 trillion worth of debt that is very subjugated on rates. The higher the rates goes, all the debt that they bought, and you got to remember, they bought it all between 0.5% and 1.5%, right? Somewhere in there, and some of that shorter term stuff even less. It starts to lose money. That's how bonds work. So all of a sudden, the Fed, who's been shoveling 70, 80, 90 billion dollars a year to the Treasury Department on their quote-unquote profits, is now going to need 70, 80, 90 billion dollars a year on top of what it's got to pay on. I mean, I think this thing's going to spiral. I don't know how long. How long can they go? I don't think we get out of 2022. I don't think we get out of 2022. Have your gold put in place before it happens. It's okay to be early. You can't be late. U.S. $20 gold. It was $20.95 yesterday, $20.95 today. Liberties and Saints, 800-951-0592. As again, I guess the thing of the day, the Fed finally said transitory is dead. Which is, unfortunately, it wasn't dead because prices are going lower.
What is he really suggesting? Then how long is inflation going to be here? I guess that should have been the follow-up question. How long will it be here? If it's not transitory, no, well, then what's the length of time it's here?
Well, how high do rates have to go?
That'll be
That's going to be the answer, because unfortunately, this is going to be the choice: is can we raise it to your point? Can we raise it to 2% and have it go away?
It has to blow up first, and then it goes to 10 to 20%. I'm telling you, man.
Telling you, I was being facetious. 2%.
I ain't going to do it.
Please, if they could get to 2%, they'd still be tapering.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right? They wouldn't be speeding. Matter of fact, they wouldn't even do taper. They'd still be buying. If they're like, we can fix this with 2%. They wouldn't even be tapering right now. I think they know that this thing is going to be, 5% probably isn't going to get it done. Is Jason right? Does it need to be 10?
10 to 25.
800-951-0592.